trouble in your eyes now, but I know there's always a way. From sunrise till dawn, I'll be here waiting. From sunrise till dawn, I'll never stop. I'll fix you up, make everything much smoother again. I'll fix you up, from sunrise till dawn, my friend. I'll fix you up, with these hands and heart so true. I'll fix you up, Daniel, I'll fix you up. The connections might be tangled, the power source has lost its spark, but every wire tells a story, and I can mend what's torn apart. From sunrise till dawn, I'll be here waiting. From sunrise till dawn, I'll never stop. I'll fix you up, make everything run smooth again. I'll fix you up, from sunrise till dawn, my friend. I'll fix you up, with these hands and heart so true. I'll fix you up, Daniel, I'll fix you up. When the current isn't flowing, when the signals disappear, I'll be here with tools and patience, make the static crystal clear. Every cable, every circuit, every problem that you bring, I'll restore what time has broken, make the whole world sing. So don't you worry about tomorrow, don't you stress about today. I've got maintenance for your troubles, and I'll chase them all away. I'll fix you up, make everything run smooth again. I'll fix you up, from sunrise till dawn, my friend. I'll fix you up, with these hands and heart so true. I'll fix you up, Daniel, I'll fix you up. Hey, Daniel, everything's good as new. Hey, Daniel, I'll fix you up for you.
Well, welcome to the show. I am your host, Daniel, and today is Judge David Wolfe. So let me share my screen and let's get going here. Make this bigger. So yeah, I'm going to be watching, but I'm also going to be watching what is being played. So if there's any ads, I can cut the ads out so we don't get copyright strike. I'm also going to mute my mic so you don't hear what's going on in the background. But I'm still here watching. I appreciate everybody who watches this content. If it's one person or 20 people, I appreciate every single one of you. But let's get started with today's docket.
Ready to believe your client had just finished testifying, is that correct? Do you have any other proof? Mr. Butler, this is your opportunity. The plaintiff is rested on their ground for divorce, and this is your opportunity to present any proof that you wish to. Do you want to testify? All right, are you chewing gum? All right, spit it out before you take the stand, if you will. Then come up. Like I say, you are representing yourself, so this is your opportunity to tell me what, you can respond to the statements that she made under oath about what happened. You can testify about what you want me to do regarding the divorce, the property division, and any kind of custody arrangements.
Yes, sir. So on the I guess we'll just go kind of going down a timeline like they did yesterday.
Whoa.
So on the Mother's Day incident.
Let me ask you this question before we get started, and please bear with me. Do you have any pending criminal cases that are pending right now?
I do that I'm taking to trial, yes.
All right, you have a case that's pending,
Yes, sir.
and what kind of case is that?
I was at the hospital being treated for poison ivy. And she showed up there and saw my car.
I'm just asking you, what's the charge?
Oh, stalking.
All right, so you have a pending stalking charge.
Yes, sir.
All right, you need to understand, and it's my duty to inform you of your rights. Every person who is going to testify has a right under the Fifth Amendment of our Constitution to decline to answer questions or to offer testimony if those answers or that testimony might tend to incriminate them in criminal conduct. In other words, if you testify today and you're asked questions about the events that led to that stalking charge, then your answers could later be used against you, and a recording's being made of that. So it's available to the district attorney's office to use that as evidence against you in that criminal case. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Do you understand then that if you can either refuse to answer questions about that by invoking your right under the Fifth Amendment to decline to testify? You can avoid testifying, on direct when you're telling me what it is. Just don't tell me anything about it. But Ms. Brady Wilkerson has the right to ask you questions about that. And she can ask you a question after question after question. And you either answer the question or state that you decline to answer that question under the Fifth Amendment. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Right. I've advised you of those rights. You're representing yourself. What happens from here on out is on you. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, then go. Do you have any other witnesses that you intend to call?
I don't.
All right, no other witnesses. All right. Then, Mr. Butler, I'm ready to hear from you.
Yes, sir. So going back to Mother's Day, 2024, that weekend, me and Aaron were kind of having an argument, and I didn't realize that this at the time. She had been coming off. She stopped taking her antidepressant medicines, and she was very emotional that weekend. And I didn't realize that weekend, and it wasn't until later. And there was multiple attempts of trying to reason and kind of talk her down, and we couldn't come to an agreement. So it was that Sunday, once I realized we couldn't work anything out, I decided to take my other two children home. So that way, she was yelling a lot that weekend, and I didn't want them to be, I've been trying to hide them from that. And so I ended up taking them home early and dropped them off. And instead of going back home, I sat in the car for a bit, and I wrote in my journal, and then I went home to give everything time to cool off. And so I did, and when I saw her, I approached her, and I tried to amend the situation, and she just didn't really want to talk to me. So again, I left. And then I came back about an hour later, 2 hours later, I can't remember exactly how long. And she was just yelling and screaming, and eventually it led to the cops being called. And I did get the body cam footage of that, if I'm able to submit that for evidence of that night. And Aaron is telling the cops that multiple attempts I've tried to defuse the situation multiple times. And she does admit to putting her hands around me. She grabs me by the throat, and then her eyes get big and she realizes what she's doing, and then she just rips my shirt. And so, when the cops got there, I refused to talk to them. I didn't want to incriminate myself, one, and two, I didn't want her to go to jail. After going through what I've been going through, I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody. But I ended up going to jail because I didn't give him my ID on private property. And then it wasn't until
Hey, everybody.
later, like when I first got to jail, they didn't even know what they were going to charge me with. It took them a while to even figure that out. He said I was drinking alcohol that night, and I definitely was not drinking alcohol that night. I know that I wasn't, and I asked him for a breathalyzer, and they would not give me one. And so then now going a month later, it was August, I think it was August. The cops had came out to our house again. It was the morning. We were set to go to Montgomery Bell State Park that morning, and that morning I was trying to talk to Aaron, like, because there's been a lot of friction between the two of us, and we were supposed to go to the state park with our son, and I was trying to kind of ease the situation so it didn't feel so tenseful, especially for our son while we're there. And she was just very hostile and just didn't I was gonna say just I don't know, just kind of trying to like shut me down like at every angle and just trying to like make me feel wrong. And then so I just kind of went about my business, doing my own thing throughout the house, and she was, doing her thing, and at there had been a lot of yelling, and so she was in the bathroom doing her makeup, and I approached her and I said, you mind if we talk? And at this moment, I was just kind of like slowly shutting the door. And she said, you're trapping me in here. You're trapping me in here. I said, no, I'm not. And I quickly opened the door and I quickly moved my body out of the way. Okay. And and I got out of the bathroom, and she calls the cops, and the cops come, and she tells them that I was false imprisonment to her, and I was keeping her against her will. And quickly the cop and the sergeant came out, and I got the body cam footage for that too. I would like to submit. And they quickly realized that she's trying to amp the situation up, which has been kind of like the theme. And so anyways,
So were you charged that night?
I was not charged, Your Honor. No, sir. Because they realized what was actually going on.
Just saying, you can't tell what somebody realized, nor can you repeat what they said, because that's hearsay.
Yes, sir. So no,
But
yeah.
tell me what do you want to do about you have one child with this?
Yes, sir. So I do have one child with Aaron, and I do have two children with another. And I just would like to get 50% custody. Me and my son Ryan are very, very close. I've been
And you
to,
want 50, how many times have you been arrested?
um, um, a- quite a bit, but,
Can't, keep count?
yes, sir. It's, one, two, I think 3 times here, and then once,
And are you on probation right now?
yes, sir.
What, how long?
For, 1 to 2 years. I think one year for early termination and then 2 years, for the full term.
Well, and you think that despite the fact that you're on probation for criminal conduct, that you should have equal time, 50% of the time of your son's life?
I do, sir.
And right now, how often are you seeing your other children?
I'm not seeing them at all, Your Honor.
Why?
I don't know why. She blocked me and won't take my phone calls, and I've tried to ask her why. Um, and she says, I'm not getting into that right now. And then about the same time they took my custody away here is when she did it there. And it was about right back to back.
So right now, how often are you seeing your child with Aaron?
And then I'm not at all. I dropped my son off at school.
Cloud is an electric bidet.
And we were 1 minute late and I dropped him off in the car rider line. Miss Brady said I dropped him off behind the school yesterday. And we were 100% in the car rider lane, and he had to walk to the cafeteria door. And I sat there in the car rider lane and watched him go in the door. And I watched the door open and him go in. And they said that I left him there by himself, which I never did. And I emailed Miss Brady multiple times when it happened to tell her the situation. I think there was a case with DCF got involved, and they found no wrongdoing.
Well, an order that was entered by Judge Turnbow in June of this year, this last month, says that you are to have supervised parenting time on Thursday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Sundays from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Eden Center.
Yes, sir.
Have you been exercising that visitation?
Yes, sir, I have. When it first started, I did miss the initial visit. I wasn't realizing it was that beginning of that week. And I also had, a lot of work going on that week because I do work for myself. And so after that one, we did get established. And there was one time on Father's Day, I was there, and I was there a couple minutes early, and they told me to go park around back because there was a pending order of protection. And I guess so I waited till like right at 5, and I started to walk up, and then there was one of her workers. I didn't realize it at the time, was walking out to her car and gets in her car and leaves literally right at 5 o'clock. And nobody answered the door, and they said I was late. And I know I wasn't late. I was there on time. I was there early, a few minutes early. And then, so since then, I've had a witness go with me there, just so that way, something like that were to happen again, I had somebody to witness it.
You were ordered by Judge Turnbow to take a 14-panel drug test.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you had yesterday?
Yes, sir.
You want to introduce that, you can get that.
Okay, so going back to the original incident that right before Christmas when we got into the argument, it had been something that had been escalating for some time, right? Yes. And you had admitted before that you had feelings for somebody at work. Is that right?
Yes.
And at that point in time, did you had admit that to me by then, or was it
I
later?
admitted that to you in July of 2022.
And, but for a long time, it was, we slept in separate bedrooms, to kind of keep the peace for a while, when you say.
Yeah, I would say that was the arrangement a lot of the time.
And when, like, say we're at work, we hardly talk via text or phone calls. We just kind of stuck to ourselves for a little bit, for a few months, I would say,
No, I wouldn't admit.
leading up to that.
No.
Okay.
The person who invented this
Going to Mother's Day weekend, when we were preparing to give you your gift with the kids, and I became frustrated. I quickly realized I was frustrated and decided to take a break in our bedroom.
Yes.
Remember, it's got to be a question, not just a statement.
Yes, sir. Okay, yes, sir. I don't know, say, was there a few times where we tried to resolve the issue that weekend calmly?
Yes.
Was there, do you remember what happened when we tried to resolve that issue?
It re-escalated.
Did, were you coming off any medication around that time?
I was briefly on an antidepressant
And you had stopped taking it around
and I
that?
had stopped taking it around that
About
time.
how many days do you think it had been?
I couldn't remember, maybe a week or two. The medicine was making me feel dizzy, so I stopped taking it.
Your Honor, I do have police body cam footage. I would like to show to the court. I didn't know how to get it to you. I do have it. We could play it. I do have my phone if you would like to watch it from Mother's Day.
It has to be demonstrated in a way that can be seen by counsel and the witness as well as the court. If you don't have the ability to play it in that fashion, then I can't admit it. Can't just let you play it on your phone. And what is this exactly?
Oh, I also have it on thumb drives as well. I could hand out. At the time, I had Rhonda Crabtree, and I did give it to her to put in the discovery.
What is this that you're wanting to introduce?
It's the body cam footage of the night of Mother's Day when I was arrested for failure to identify. And it just, she's telling the cop that, I'm, trying to de-escalate the situation multiple times, and she even admits that to the cop. And then, it admits the cop, for putting her hands on me, and I just told the cop I just don't want to talk. I didn't want to incriminate myself. And then pretty much I was arrested, and then
Well, she's objecting to the fact that you've not provided that in discovery responses, which is required under the rules. And I don't have a method by which I can just simply allow you to introduce a video, anyway, if it's on body cam footage or whatever, but. So I'm gonna sustain the objection based on the fact that two things. One is it wasn't provided in discovery, and the second is that it was, we don't have a method of being able to play it for you at this point. You would have to produce a means of showing it to the court at that point. So sustain the objection.
Yes, sir. And then ultimately that night I was arrested, right? And the charges, they kind of changed. They didn't really know what they were gonna charge me with. Is that right? So they were kind of, working together, trying to figure out. Did you think I was drinking that night?
Yes,
Okay.
an officer said he smelled it on you.
Yeah, I wasn't, sorry. And,
A healthy liver helps your body process food.
All right, Dad, what are you making?
My new go-to morning smoothie.
What's that?
This is the secret ingredient. This is equivalent to 17 shots of turmeric. It's packed with things like milk thistle, ginger, dandelion, and it tastes pretty good. Try that.
Wow, that is good. A little water.
Ice.
It's down.
At my age, it's important to get routine blood work done every so often. While everything came back good, my doctor did recommend some sort of liver support. So if you didn't know, your liver produces bile, which helps break down fat. Added bonus about this smoothie, tastes pretty good. Cheers. So if you're looking for something simple to add to your routine, try Dose for your liver.
Beautiful. Cheers.
and that was 1 week before the court date, after I did the, anger management classes for 26 weeks. It was almost like 1 week till that court date to where they were, either going to dismiss the charges or, move forward with them. Is that right?
I only learned that after the fact.
Okay. And on June 15th, that was the day that we decided to go to Montgomeryville, and that morning, I also did get the body cam footage of that as well, Your Honor, and the police officers both realized.
Rules require that you produce prior to trial any evidence that you're going to use at trial. So I have really no choice but to sustain an objection because it wasn't produced.
Yeah, I didn't know. Do you know why the cops didn't charge me with anything that day? So, on around August 10th, around that time, do you know where I was living at that time?
You were living in your truck in the neighbor's driveway.
I was actually in her house,
Okay,
sleeping, living, at Marcia's.
Marsh.
Sustain, you can't make a statement, that's testimony. You're gonna get a chance to testify tomorrow.
So,
I don't expect we're gonna finish today, so you'll get a chance to testify tomorrow morning. I just want you to understand, you cannot make those kinds of statements.
Yes,
Okay?
Yes, sir, I'm trying. Did you allow me to come over to the house around that time?
I had invited you over before then.
So for me to just like show up there wasn't out of the ordinary because we were allowing me there, right?
But it was late at night. And it was obvious that you had been in the house when you weren't allowed in the house, so it scared me.
Okay. And then, yeah, then the next day, I approached you, or no, um, I did offer to fix the vanity for you.
That you broke.
I did offer to fix it for you.
I didn't want you in the house at that point.
And, I did tell you what my work schedule was that day, correct?
Well, I don't remember. I know what you're trying to get at. The stalking was not because you saw me at that church parking lot talking to Aubin. It was because of that phone that they found in my trunk. Not even an hour before then.
Yeah, prior to that phone being in there, do you remember going to the water park, us
I
three?
do.
That cheap meat looks like a great deal, right?
And where do we put our electronics that day?
All the bags were in the trunk.
The trunk.
But they said it was hid in the lining of the trunk.
And at that time, is it fair to say that I had a lot of personal items in my vehicle, because of my departure from living in the house?
Yes.
And that phone you had seen before,
I saw that phone.
you
in
know,
your
it had
bag.
been around the house, floating around. You've seen it. You think it's possible that it might have just got left in there from the water?
She's objecting to the fact that you're asking her to speculate whether or not it's possible that phone got put in there. It's always possible that some third person put it in there. It's possible. There are all sorts of infinite possibilities, but that would require speculation. So I have to sustain the objection. She can't testify as to how something conceivably could have happened. Okay?
I understand. Was the phone activated?
I don't know.
Was there like service on the phone?
I didn't check it. I just turned it in to the sheriff's office.
They didn't check it.
I don't know what they did with it.
Um, um, then, I got put on probation and I had the GPS bracelet and then we had that reconnection. And before December, before the agreed order, there were, order protections in place and it made it really hard for me to be able to see Ryan.
Yes.
And so that's why in that time, I didn't have visitation with Ryan
Right.
because I couldn't, um, and uh, um, okay. And, during that big snowstorm, there were a few days where we did have snow on the road and, you did bring Ryan to me and I did watch him for you, right? Or,
But that was a big snowstorm
um,
that I referenced.
right.
But there was another snow day where he stayed with Miss Gail and Dewey down the road, and then I brought Ryan to you after work. That is true.
There wasn't two incidents. They're about a week apart where they canceled school and, you brought him over a couple times. And then on the evening of that big snowstorm, I did tell you that I was working and I couldn't get to my phone, but I did try to reach out to you around later that evening, around 5 o'clock.
Which incident?
With
are
the
we-
big stuff, the 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 big snowstorm.
The only correspondence I got from you that night was I was still at work. And I asked you if you could or could not get him because I needed to make other arrangements. And all you said was, I can't. You didn't say because I'm working late, but can you bring him over later? It was just, I can't. And I had made it very clear to you that I wanted Ryan to be where he was going to be Thursday night before the snowstorm hit.
Sorry to jump around, but going back to the August 10th, that was around Ryan's first day of school. All right.
That was the weekend before his first day of school. Yeah.
And, I did ask you if it would be okay if I got to see him, after his first day of school.
You went with us when we went to meet the teacher on the open house the night before school started. Yes.
Yeah. Um, and, well, I had a little bit of work at the time. And so, I did want to see him that evening. And, do you remember me asking you that?
I remember you asking if I wanted to go out to eat the night that we were together at open house. And I told you no, I think I'd already planned on cooking something. And then I had already made arrangements with Aubin as a surprise for Ryan. And I didn't want to tell you because I was scared that you might show up.
I've always supported Ryan getting to be with his brother and sister all the time, right?
Yes.
And I also, since me and Aubin separated, I've always made a good effort to go pick up Bailey and Corey.
Overrule, I think it would be relevant, but you just can't make a statement. You gotta ask a question. You have to at least some form say, ask her if that is in fact the case, rather than you just stating it.
Okay.
The reason I'm overruling it, Ms. Brady, is because in parenting, it's not just about these children, the child that's in this case, but a track record of what he has in the way of contact with other children is important. Ask her a question about what she thinks about your relationship with the other children. I cut off your train of thought. So I'll give you that much leeway to say, if you're gonna ask her a question about your children, ask her, what is her opinion about your parenting of your other children?
Yeah, what do you think about the relationship that I have with me and Bailey and Corey, or my other children?
Right now, I don't think you have a relationship with Bailey and Corey other than FaceTime because Alvin does not feel comfortable with them staying overnight with you or being in a vehicle with you.
What do you think about before this happened, my relationship with Bailey and Corey?
I've always thought you were a good dad. You have the potential to be a good dad. So I know you've always tried to be involved with Bailey and Corey.
I'm about to reveal a snore.
And with Ryan's life and all his activities, I was usually there, right? Usually involved 90, I would say about 90% of the time, would you say?
Yeah.
Almost 100% of the time. Whether it's doctor's appointments, you know, soccer, coaching soccer, you know, and also getting Ryan to go to Bailey and Corey's soccer games, or, you know, trying to keep everybody involved. You say I tried to do that.
In the past, yes, but I feel like recently that has kind of all dissolved.
And recently, what did make, you know, Aubin not allow me Bailey and Corey?
Because of your behavior, your inability to work with her in making logistical arrangements with the children.
But before that, Bailey and Corey were coming over every other weekend like normal, right? When you would drop Ryan off at the house before,
Yes.
you know, and Bailey and Corey were always there. And then all of a sudden they just weren't. It has nothing to do with this case. Oh,
I mean, it kind of bleeds together, but I think that it's also your relationship with Alvin and her fear of you potentially relapsing and not having secure housing.
do you mind, Your Honor, if I grab?
Go ahead.
Going back to August 7th, that was a day, or March 7th, I'm sorry. We had switched weekends that weekend, I believe, and I had him that following Wednesday, so I would have had him Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
But we never agreed on it.
Right, but leading up to that, that was the, you know, in theory, that was the plan.
The plan was for you to get him that weekend, but it was difficult for us to communicate about logistics because of the divorce arguments. So it wasn't explicitly clear. And when I tried to contact you that Wednesday, you had blocked my phone.
Okay, and that was the Wednesday that you did the welfare check?
It was Thursday. I gave you a full 24 hours and I was still blocked at that point. So I did call the police and ask for a welfare check.
And those were my days for parenting, right?
Technically, but we had switched weekends and it wasn't explicit that you were going to have him Wednesday through Monday.
Right. But that was my original Wednesday through, that was my original court order set day.
Yes,
But that weekend was a weekend we verbally decided to switch because I went to Florida. right?
correct.
Um,
I did the wellness check because you blocked my phone.
okay. Your Honor, this is, where I did try to call her on March the 7th and I got no answer. I don't know.
Go to Ms. Brady and see if she has any objection. And what is this again?
March the 7th, they said I didn't show up to pick up Ryan. Well, I tried to call her, and also before that Wednesday or Thursday, when cops got involved, she quickly was trying to say, well, we didn't
Right,
talk
so
about.
you're
Ryan."
wanting to introduce this, that she identified it? You have to, if she's testifying, you have to offer a document to her to let her admit that she knows what it is and it's accurate, and then you can introduce it. Otherwise, you'll have to introduce it when you testify. You understand? But I'm gonna hand that back to you because you can't just offer a document that's hasn't been identified. And you can't, in asking a question, identify a document and then say, I want to make this an exhibit. So the proper way of doing it is show it to her, ask her if she knows what that is. And I don't think she's gonna be able to because it's a copy of your phone record, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, thank you. Do you mind? That's okay.
You go ahead and try to show it to her and see if she knows anything about it.
I do remember that. That's when I was getting my hair done because I told you I wasn't gonna be able to pick Ryan up that Friday night.
Were you getting your, what time were you getting your?
I was in the chair was probably getting my hair shampooed at that time.
So do you recognize that as being accurate?
Yes.
Right, then we'll let it be marked as an exhibit.
Now, if someone had told me I could
And then also leading up to, me, not wanting to talk to you, do you remember me trying to make several attempts to, mend the situation, to try to reach across the aisle, so to speak, to,
At what time frame and what capacity?
um, 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 around that time when, you called the cops for, welfare check, a welfare check. We were
Well,
going to,
my phone number when you had Ryan, so no, I don't think you were reaching across the aisle.
well, I don't think
You did.
um,
I had not called for a welfare check if I was able to contact you. That would be an abuse.
do you remember the time at Ninja class, you, asked to talk outside and we could try to like talk about the situation? I mean, and you asked me what I wanted. Do you remember what I said?
We want.
Objection is to the fact that you cannot testify about negotiations and settlement. And she's arguing that what's been discussed over a period of 3 years would not be relevant to what's going on. So you're going to sustain the objection. That means you cannot ask her that question.
I got you. Yes, sir. Do you mind if I approach her with a,
I don't know the approach her. What is it you're approaching her about?
the email that I sent to try to mend the air a little bit, to try to make things better?
And when was this email sent?
It was, this was in February.
Of this year?
Yes, sir.
Has Ms. Brady seen this document? his case, he can try it however he wants, but the first thing I need you to do is see whether or not you have any objections. Objection is it wasn't provided in discovery. The second objection is that it's basically, again, after the, discussions that have occurred over a long period of time, the marriage doesn't just end overnight.
Sure.
Usually it's going to be a deterioration that occurs over time. And so your efforts, it's acknowledged that you both have probably made efforts, I think, apparent that both of you have made efforts when she's alleging that these things occurred, and then she still takes you back and you two work on trying to be together. Sometimes things are just not fated to happen.
Sure.
So I'm not going to allow you to introduce that record because I don't think there's any dispute about that fact.
Sure. And then the last order of protection that was taken out, do you remember why you took it out?
It was a ninja class, and I just felt like I dreaded every Wednesday. Ryan loved that class, but I dreaded it because even if it was my Wednesday, you would come and you would harass me and call me names, and it was just awful. And you had just got that tracking device taken off, and you basically intimidated me that your lawyer told you that you were allowed to move back into the house.
In that ninja class, you would, the room that everybody sits in to watch their kids, it's fairly small, right?
It is.
And there's a lot of parents in there, would you say?
Yeah.
Pretty packed. I guess what I'm getting at is, if there was a huge name calling scene, somebody surely would have heard it.
I mean, you whispered it in my ear, but I knew what you said.
And then for that first court date of that order of protection, did you show up to court that day?
I did, because I remember you were yelling at Rhonda in the hallway. Remember, we were trying to negotiate terms. But it was filed, I think, on a Thursday, and then we got a rush on Monday, but then there wasn't docket time. So I was there.
But you weren't there when our name was called to go to the podium.
The second time, no, it was my understanding that my lawyer was in a different county and she would not, the case would not be heard. And so I was not in the courtroom right at 9 a.m. And so I was late.
What's that?
He's pretty good.
So it wasn't that important to you.
No, it was important to me, but I was told that I didn't have to be here right at 9 a.m. So I wasn't, and I don't really like waiting out in the hallway with you. That's why I usually come in right at 9 o'clock.
And then when that order of protection was in place, there's a message from somebody named Aaron Butler through Facebook, and I have it right here. If it's okay if I could approach her.
Amen.
Remember sending.
I don't have a Facebook account. No.
Can I submit this? And it would be a picture of a girl.
She hasn't seen that in front.
No, I said no, I haven't seen that, and I don't have a Facebook account, so that could not be me. Aaron Butler is a popular name.
Again, you can't just introduce a document when the way that you have to do is you have to show it to a witness and then let them identify what it is and that they confirmed it is accurate. Otherwise, you can't use this witness to introduce that document. You'll have to introduce it through another means. Explain the objection.
So going back to the time when I had to bring Ryan back home, and I was scared to call you, so I had him call you.
Oh, You went to Marcia's house?
Yes, and I don't know how to say with the question. I do have the hair test.
I would sustain the objection. You could, I mean, if you've got a test result that was ordered by the court, then when you testify tomorrow, you will be able to introduce that.
Oh,
You'll have, it's your result, so you'll have to testify about it.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I really appreciate your patience. I didn't want to do this by choice, I promise.
Frankly, I didn't want you to be unrepresented, but I don't have anything to do with it, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's all I got. That's all I got. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions for this witness?
I'm sorry.
Do you have any other questions for her?
Yeah, thank you.
Ms. Brady, do you have a redirect? Step down, man. Courthouse is closing, so we're gonna go ahead and adjourn for today, and tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, we'll resume this case. Ms. Brady, I know you have other matters tomorrow as well. We will adjourn until tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock.
We promise a 10
I think it was his weekend, but we were also in this weird limbo where the GPS tracker, they hadn't cleared the parameter zones for the school yet. And so even if school had been in session, that was going to be a little bit tricky on how Rob could obtain Ryan.
And this, though, is an example of your all's inability to communicate effectively.
Correct, because Friday morning around 9 a.m., Rob starts texting me saying, when are you going to bring Ryan over? And I said, I told you. It was already, the roads were already bad at that point. I said, I'd made other arrangements. So he got really mad. He found out that Ryan was at Auburn's house, the other children's mother. And when he did, he said that he was coming to get Ryan and that he was going to bring the police if he had to. And this was in the middle of a very bad snowstorm.
And then on March the 7th, can you tell the court about the father picking up or not picking Ryan up from daycare?
On March the 7th,
Uh-huh.
that was the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the week prior, he had asked me if we could switch weekends because his mom lives in Florida and was having a procedure. So I had agreed. But then that week, that was technically his Wednesday through Friday, when I said he could have him that weekend. Well, he picked Ron up from school on Wednesday and then he blocked me. I waited a day and a half before I called the police to do a well check because I didn't know that he was going to be getting him at that time. And we had already verbally agreed. I made it very clear to him, I have a hair appointment on Friday after work. You are going to be able to get Ryan. And he said yes, but then he did not pick Ryan up on that Friday. So I had to pay a late fee and I had to get the babysitter to go and get him after the daycare had closed.
Okay, so he had an opportunity to pick him up from daycare and it should have been his time to pick him up and he did not do that.
Correct.
And then maybe a week later, there's an incident at Ryan's gymnastics class or whatever that program is. Can you explain that to the court?
So I feel like it was just really a gateway for him to harass me because you're sitting there. And so he's just, it's the same insults. It's the same argument. And he had just recently had his tracking device taken off and he told me that he was allowed back in the house now.
And so what did you do because of that conversation?
I felt very scared. And so I contacted Candy at the DA's office.
And you did what? You filed what?
Filed for a restraining order.
And that was granted?
Yes.
And then about a week later, on March 28th, 2025, was there another incident where the father did not pick up your child from school?
Yes, it was Rob's normal regular weekend, and I was contacted by the daycare at about 5:30 p.m. They close at 6. And so I went to pick Ryan up. I got there maybe 10 till 6.
And then on April 1st, this is on a Tuesday, is there an incident that that we need to tell the court about?
So that was a Tuesday. Again, that off week, it was Wednesday through Friday. This was a Tuesday. I show up at daycare. They said that Rob had picked him up. So I contacted Margaret, and then she contacted Robert and he brought Ryan back to the daycare
And what did you find out as the reason why he picked him up on a Tuesday?
because he didn't know what day of the week it was.
And there would be no reason for him to pick him up on a Tuesday.
Correct.
And then can you tell the court what happened on April 14th at Ryan's school?
I was at work and it was maybe 9 a.m. I got a message through the school app from Ron's teacher that said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know that Ron was dropped off behind the school. The doors were locked. There were no workers outside, and Ryan was crying and went up to the cafeteria door, and luckily there was still someone in there. They saw Ryan. There was nobody outside, and they brought Ryan in, and she said that Ryan was very upset."
And then let's talk about May 1st, 2025. This is the day that you got a call from a neighbor. Can you explain to the court what happened on that day?
So that day, so now the daycare is kind of trigger happy, and anytime it gets close to 5:30, they're letting me know that Ron's still there when it's Rob's time. So they had told me, so I got in my vehicle. The daycare's about 15 minutes away, and then I almost got there, but then they messaged me and said, "Oh, he just picked him up." So okay, so I turned around and came home. So then start getting all these random phone calls, and I answered one of them, and I did recognize that it was his voice.
Whose voice?
Robert's voice, pretending to be from a talent agency looking for Aaron Butler. So I hung up. And then later I got a call and Ryan had left me a voicemail, but it was odd because Ryan said, "What did you say?" Like he was being coached on what to say. Again, I didn't do anything because I knew that he was just trying to. And so then a little bit later, my neighbor called me and she said, "You need to come and get Ryan. Rob is over here and he's very sick and he needs to go to the emergency room." So I walked over to the neighbors. Rob was on the back porch, pacing back and forth, agitated, upset. And I got Ryan out of the vehicle and we walked back to my house.
And that neighbor testified at our previous hearing about that incident.
Yes,
And that resulted in the order that currently stands of supervised visits.
correct.
And then this continued to de-escalate until an event where he appeared at your work. Can you explain that to the court, please?
So I had started a new job, and employees have to park in a certain garage and on a certain level or higher. And I had been parking in the same area for the past 2 days. And so I get to work at the same time for orientation, and Rob's car is there. So I panicked. I took a picture of his license plate. At first I called Cheatham County because at this point there's a warrant out for his arrest because he's already violated the order of protection by being at my house the week before. So then they gave me Davidson County's number, and then they gave me St. Thomas's security number. So I called and they came to the scene, but Rob fled from the garage and they didn't catch him.
But ultimately, he was charged in Davidson County as well.
Yes.
And what were those charges?
Violating an order of protection, reckless endangerment, and aggravated stalking.
And as far as you know, what has happened with those charges?
They've been bound over.
Was there one, though, that he was found guilty of?
Yes.
Which one do you remember?
Violating the order of protection.
And what was the result of that guilty finding?
10 days in jail.
And when did he serve those 10 days? You remember?
That was in June.
Okay, so
It was in between the 2 court hearings about Ryan.
So sometime in June, he had to serve 10 days for the violation of order of protection. The aggravated stalking and reckless have been bound over.
Correct.
And are still pending. So that brings us to June 4th, which we've already talked about, that he was at that point given supervised visitation. And then how have those visits gone?
So the first visit, he didn't show up because he didn't think that it had already started yet. And Ryan was upset because he was excited to see his dad. The second visit, he was over 30 minutes late. And so at that point, we established a 10-minute grace period before the visit would be canceled. But he did see Ryan that time. The third visit, he no-showed. The fourth visit, he no-showed. And then he was in jail. So he missed those visits. And after that, he did start coming to the visits.
Okay, and that started at the end of June, essentially. So
Yes.
for a couple of weeks, you've had pretty stable visits.
Yes.
Okay, at the June 4th hearing, what else was Mr. Butler ordered to do?
I had a DCS investigation and a hair follicle drug test.
And as of today, do you have evidence of either of those things being completed?
No.
And then we had another review date on June 30th. Were there any changes to his visitation schedule on the June 30th hearing?
No.
So that brings us to today and what we are going to be doing moving forward. So what are you asking the court to do as far as your divorce? Are you asking to be divorced?
Yes.
And are you asking that to be on the grounds of inappropriate marital conduct?
Yes.
Based on all of the criminal charges of domestic assault, stalking, and all of those things?
Yes.
And are you asking for any contact with him moving forward? With Mr. Butler?
No.
Would you like that to be a part of the court order for a no contact?
Yes.
If he does need to contact you, if he is given parenting time under this court order, would you want any contact to be limited to only during that event, like during that visit, if there's an emergency with Ryan?
Yes.
So what parenting schedule are you asking for the court to make an order of the court today?
If Rob cannot produce the drug test and the DCS investigation, I request that it stick with supervised visits. I would like to transition it from 2 days a week, still having the same amount of parenting time, but on every other Saturday or Sunday. So like maybe having the whole day, just because logistically it is a little bit difficult since I work in Nashville. And also I'm trying to move, so I won't be in Cheatham County, hopefully.
Okay, and so you're asking the court to clarify that you want his parenting time, if any, to be every other weekend rather than the 2 hours every weekend that we have right now.
Yeah.
Even if it's an extended amount of time on the every other weekend, so then you have some time that you can do things on the weekend.
Yes.
And your family lives where?
In East Tennessee, halfway in between Knoxville and the Tri-Cities, so 4 hours away.
And so if you were going to go visit them, you'd obviously need to do that over a weekend.
Correct.
And this current schedule wouldn't allow for you to do that.
Correct.
And why do you think supervised visits are appropriate?
Because I don't know that he can provide a safe and stable environment for Ryan.
And do you remember at the last hearing that we had, what he testified to about his living situation?
He did produce an address.
And did he know the owners of the home?
No.
Did he know how much his rent was?
No.
Did he know how much his utilities were going to be?
No.
So you have questions about where he may be living?
Correct.
All right, so then I'm going to ask a couple of questions about your home. Who lives in your home?
Ryan and I.
And does Ryan have siblings?
Yes.
And who are they?
Bailey and Corey. Bailey is 10, Corey is 8. They're half siblings.
And are they half siblings through you or Mr. Butler?
Through Mr. Butler.
And does he have contact with those siblings?
Yes.
And how does that happen?
Aubin and I, the children's mother, and I make sure to get the kids together.
So you facilitate those visits?
Yes.
Who has provided the majority of the daily care for Ryan?
I have.
Since when?
What's for dinner? That's easy, but
At least since he's been ordered out of the house, and really before then.
Okay. Do you take Ryan to school and extracurricular events?
Yes.
Where does he attend school?
At Ashland City Elementary.
What extracurricular do you take him to?
He is not doing ninja anymore. He does swim lessons on Monday nights.
If you're named primary residential parent, would you follow the orders of this court?
Yes.
Would you allow Ryan to have safe contact with the father?
Yes.
Have you ever been blocked by the father from contacting Ryan?
Yes.
So now we're going to look at our child support situation. So we've finished our parenting plan and all of the backstory, and now we're going to move into just the details that we're trying to lock down. So how much do you earn?
It's a little over 6,000 a month.
Your Honor, can I approach the witness?
You may.
Can you identify what I've handed you?
Yes,
What is this?
this is my most recent, or it's pay stub,
And what's the date of that pay stub?
June the 27th, 2025.
And that covers 2 weeks. And what is your pay rate?
$3,080 biweekly.
And so if you do the math on that, that makes you at about 6673.33 per month. Does that sound right?
Yes,
Your Honor, I would ask that this be made an exhibit. Do you know what Mr. Butler currently earns?
I don't.
Do you know what he has earned in the past?
A couple years ago, he worked as a diesel mechanic at YRC. I think he was making around $23 an hour.
And so are you asking the court to impute or make him responsible for $23 an hour as his income for purposes of child support?
Yes,
And that would be $39.56 a month. Does that sound right?
yes,
And you are asking the court to assign that to him because that's what he's earned in the past and what you believe he's able to earn currently.
yes. I'm sorry, you said 39.56? 390. Something like
$39.56 a month. $3,956 a month.
that. Oh, it's what his income is. Okay, sorry.
Sure. And let's see. Robert, I've handed you.
This is a weekly bill from the extended care at Ryan School.
So the first page, what does it look like that you pay per week for childcare?
When school is in session, $72.44 a week.
And the second page, what does that represent?
This is the summer rates when school is not in session, and it's $113.84 a week.
How many weeks are at the summer rate per year?
It's about 10.
And so then the other 42 would be at the 72.44 a week.
Correct.
Your Honor, I've asked to make this an exhibit. Are you asking the court to give you credit for an average monthly child care cost of $348.41 based on the average of those two bills?
Yes.
All right, now let's talk about health insurance.
This is bi-weekly payroll deductions for healthcare.
And it shows how much healthcare would cost for you as an employee or an employee plus child.
Yes.
And based on that piece of paper in front of you, would it be accurate that Ryan's portion of the health insurance premium is $53 a month?
Yes.
Would it be accurate that Ryan's portion of the vision insurance is $2.13 a month?
Yes.
And that Ryan's dental insurance is $10.77 per month?
Yes.
I'd like to make this an exhibit, Your Honor. And are you asking the court to give you credit for those premiums on the child support worksheet?
Yes.
Your Honor, under Rule 1006, I believe, I have prepared a summary of those credits that I would like to admit into evidence at this time. Okay, now let's look at our child support arrears calculation. Between July 2024 and the first half of December 2024, how much parenting time did Mr. Butler exercise?
None.
Whoa.
Child support worksheet.
How many days are for the father on that child support worksheet?
0.
And if you look at the third page of that, what is the third page titled?
For the third page?
Yeah, the third page right here.
What is it, total? I'm sorry.
Titled, what is
Oh,
it titled?
titled, credit worksheet.
And you can see that he has been given credit near the bottom for 3 children that he has with another person.
Yes.
And what does it say as would be on the second page, his total monthly child support obligation based on 0 days? It's at the bottom.
The
Mhm.
$711.
Perfect. Your Honor, I'd ask to make this an exhibit, please. And so are you asking the court to assign him $711 of child support obligation for the period of time from July 2024 for half of the month of December when he had no parenting time?
Yes.
And then between December 17th, 2024, which is when the parenting arrangement started, that he had until May 15th of 2025, how much parenting time did Mr. Butler exercise?
I don't know what the percentage would be.
You had testified earlier that it was about 8 days a month.
Yes,
Does that
yes,
sound right?
8 days a month.
Okay.
Another child support worksheet,
How many days are on there for the father?
85.
And you can see on the third page, again, he's given credit for the out-of-home children.
Yes.
And then on the second page, what would be his obligation for the period of time from December 17th to May 15th?
$627.
Your Honor, I'd ask to make this an exhibit. And you're asking the court then to give you child support arrears and arrears judgment for all of those things that we just detailed. Is that right?
Yes.
And then from May 15th until today, how many days of parenting time does he exercise?
None.
So you'd be asking for the $711 to be from May 15th until today as part of the arrears judgment.
Yes.
Your Honor, again, okay, we're getting there. Again, you and Mr. Butler own a home. What's the address of that home?
1411 Dry Creek Road, Ashland
And
City.
what are you,
This, make sure I'm understanding what I was just handed is a child support credit to the mother. Is that
oh,
what-
sorry.
And I think you were trying to give me a summary of, I think I'd already gotten that one.
You have, thank you.
Right.
Okay.
And this would be the next thing.
So what are you asking the court to allow to be done with that home?
To sell it.
And are you asking the court to vest you with the singular authority to list it, sell it, execute closing documents, and all of that?
Yes.
Why is it that you want that singular authority rather than to coordinate that with Mr. Butler?
Well, first, historically, we've not been able to work together. I have maintained the household over the past year, and the mortgage note is in my name.
And there are also bond conditions and other things that would prevent a coordination anyway.
Correct.
What do you propose to do with things still at the home that may belong to Mr. Butler?
You can have them.
And so how could you coordinate that removal and return to him of any things that are his personal items?
Potentially put them in a storage unit or something like that.
Okay. And what do you propose to do with the proceeds from the sale of the house?
The equity,
Mm-hmm.
divide it.
Mm-hmm. And divide it in what manner?
Well, 50-50, but I would like credit for what I have paid.
Okay. And so you are asking for some reimbursements from the sale of the home. Is that right?
Yes.
Out in front of you.
This is the TVA credit union account. I have a checking account there, but that's how I pay for the mortgage.
And does this document reflect the mortgage payment that you make every month?
Yes,
And how much is that mortgage payment that you make every month?
$1,357.04.
And since July of 2024 until today, who has made that mortgage payment?
I have,
Have you gotten any money or any assistance from Mr. Butler to make that payment?
not for the mortgage, no.
Your Honor, I would ask to make that an exhibit.
That's why I take those.
So you have paid $1,357 for 13 months for a total of $17,641. Are you asking the court to make Mr. Butler responsible for half of that payment?
Yes,
All right. Also, during this time, you paid utilities by yourself, is that correct?
correct.
One of which is, let me change it.
This is the electric. It's a year's overview of payments.
And do you believe, who made these payments?
I did.
Did you have any input from Mr. Butler on those payments?
No,
And so that's a total of $2,072 made to NES. Are you asking that Mr. Butler reimburse you $1,036 from his portion of the proceeds for the utilities that were paid during the year?
yes,
Your Honor, I'd ask to make this an exhibit. What about the water bill? Water,
yes.
you identify what I've just handed you.
This is a year snapshot of payments made
To whom?
to River Road Utility District.
And in that time, you made those payments on your own?
Yes,
Did you get any money from Mr. Butler to assist in making those payments?
no,
And so that's a total of $1,271.66. Are you asking the court to make Mr. Butler responsible for half of that from his
Yes.
house proceeds? Your Honor, I'd ask to make that an exhibit as well, please. Additionally, you've also had to have certain maintenance items completed or maintenance work.
yes. This is a handyman invoice.
What's the date on the first one?
The first one is dated July the 13th.
And made it to whom?
To at-home renovations for $630.
And what was that for?
That was for fixing the front porch, mounting a dishwasher, replacing a broken island countertop, changing out an HVAC return, and then also fixing a kitchen light.
And is that in preparation of sale?
Yes,
Then if we look on the next page, this invoice, what's the date on that?
this is October the 10th of 2024,
What's the amount?
$250.
And that was paid to whom?
That was paid to LGS LLC.
And what was that for?
That was for fixing a sheetrock block in the bathroom, fixing a leaky toilet, and removing and installing the kitchen light that I recently had to get repaired again.
All right, and then on the third page, what is this for?
This this was for $681, and this one is not an itemized statement. This one was placing baseboards and also making a door frame into the pantry. We had removed all that because we were going to try to do an archway, but then that never happened. So easiest thing was just to rebuild the frame. So
And what's the date on that at the bottom?
that is October the 26th, 24.
Did you pay for all three of these repairs?
Yes.
Did you get any assistance from Mr. Butler on those?
No.
Are you asking the court to, hold on, let me make sure. that I got my totals right.
Whoever invented this deserves a raise. Can't believe it's already 2025 and people are still using those old, disgusting sink plugs. Come on, those things should have been in the trash years ago. It's time.
Are you asking Mr. Butler to be responsible for half of those?
Yes.
Your Honor, I'd ask to make this an exhibit, please. And again, Your Honor, I have a summary of those that I would like to admit into evidence, but I'll tell you, my math is incorrect. I just realized a mistake. So that total is not accurate, but the list is accurate.
Well, Paul, let's take that after the recess. We recess for 15 minutes.
All right, so we just have a couple more things to run through. We have the contents of the home that are the things that are still in the home. And what do you propose? What would you like the court to do with those things?
I guess divide it up.
And how can you coordinate? Again, it's kind of like with his personal items, with Mr. Butler's personal items. Would you be able to put those things that the court might award to him somewhere secure for him to get those, or work something out with that before the sale of the home? And otherwise, if that isn't agreeable, would you agree that there might be a limited amount of credit that he may need to receive on his side for contents of the home, such as the appliances and the furniture?
Yeah, I mean, to simplify things, we could do that.
And how much credit do you think that might be worth?
Maybe like 2,000.
All right. Then
Repeat that. You want credit 2,000 for what?
there are household furnishings and appliances that she understands that he has a claim to some of those, and that might be worth about $2,000 on his side to the positive.
Okay.
And then let's talk about your bank accounts that you have. Do you have separate bank accounts in your name only?
Yes,
Does he have bank accounts in his name only?
I'm assuming so.
Would you ask that yours is yours and his is his?
Yes,
Are there any joint accounts?
there are, and I would like for that account to be closed.
And what do you think the balance of that account is?
I actually just checked it on lunch, $45.
And are you asking to be awarded that $45 balance for the work that you're going to have to do to close that account?
Sure,
Then do you have a retirement account?
I do.
What's the balance of your retirement account?
Roughly 40,000.
And are you asking what do you propose happen with the 401k?
I would like to keep it.
And why do you think that you're entitled to keep all of that $40,000 401k balance?
Because a portion of that I did earn before we were married.
And in the meantime, you're going to be the person that has to prepare the house for sale and work through all of those things. And would that be a repayment, so to speak, for the work that you're going to have to do to prepare the house to sell?
Yes,
So you're asking that your 401k stay in your name.
yes.
What about vehicles? What vehicle do you have?
I have a 2016 Chevy Tahoe.
And you probably speak up a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
You have a 2016 Chevy Tahoe. Does it have a note on it?
It does.
And what's the balance of that?
A little over 22,000.
Are you asking that you retain that Chevy Tahoe and be responsible for that debt?
Yes,
And then does Mr. Butler have vehicles?
he does.
What are they?
He has a 2008 Escalade and then a 2010 Cadillac. I think it's an SRX. It's a mid-size SUV.
Is there any debt associated with those?
No.
Are you asking that he be awarded those two Cadillacs
Yes.
and they'll become his property?
Yes.
What about debt that you have? Do you have any joint debt?
No.
So you have some credit card debt though.
Yes.
He has some credit card debt.
I'm assuming yes.
Are you asking, and you have student loan debt, both
Yes.
of you? Are you asking that your debt be yours and his debt be his?
Yes.
What about attorney's fees? Have you expended or obligated yourself to attorney's fees in this case?
Yes.
And are those fees greatly increased due to the direct behavior of Mr. Butler?
Absolutely.
What are you asking the court to do related to your attorney's fees?
I am asking that he cover the attorney's fees.
And where would you propose that the payment for those attorney's fees come from?
From Mr. Butler.
From how?
Oh, from the sale of the house.
Perfect. And Your Honor, that's all I would have.
All right. Mr. Butler, you're acting as your own attorney. You have the right, if you choose to ask questions. You want to ask any?
Right out of money. So, yeah, I definitely would like to ask a question.
All right, just make sure that your questions are in a question form where I'm going to give you a chance to testify if you choose to, but you can ask her questions only. Okay?
Yes, sir. I'm learning as I go. Thank you. Is it okay if I use the notes app on my phone?
What app?
We promise a 10
Then Ms. Brady, if you will call your first witness.
So so you've been married since 2018. You have a 6-year-old child together, and you live where?
In Dry Creek Road.
And that's a home that you owned together.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're,
Let's let him work on it. Go ahead. See
Say something.
Yeah. There we go.
Hello.
oh, there we go.
Good. Okay.
Okay, so lean into it though, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So this is the December 2022 incident, and you were saying that you were going to go to a community event and it devolved into some arguing, and then what?
So when we get home, I'm exhausted. I'm thinking that I'm just going to go to bed. And Rob was in Ron's room. I think they were watching TV. And then he came in there and he told me to get out of the bed. And I said no. And so then he went to the garage and got the chainsaw and brought it into the bedroom. He didn't turn it on, but obviously intimidated me with it. And so at that point, we're yelling, we're arguing. It started out with him punching the TV in the bedroom. So he smashed the TV. And then the arguments kept escalating. And a couple different times he held me down on the bed with his hands on my face, and he dug his thumbs into my eyeballs, like into my eye sockets, and was spitting in my face over and over again. He did that at least 2 different times. At one point, when I was out of the bed and we were arguing, he picked me up by my throat and he squeezed it so tight that I felt my trachea compressing, but I did not lose consciousness. We kept arguing. At one point, he threw a full glass of water on me, and at that point, I was so like terrorized and in shock. I thought he had threw a glass of vodka on me because he told me that he was going to burn the witch. And then another time when he was holding me down and he was digging into my eyes and spitting in my face, I was flailing my arms to try to get him off of me. And I must have brushed his face with my fingers. And when I did that, he took his left closed fist and punched me in my right jawline. So I started screaming and crying. And at that point, I heard Ryan, and this was probably around midnight. So I ran to check on him, and I threw the dog in the room with him, and I told him to stay in his room. And we kept arguing. It was in the middle of the night, and finally, I think we were just both exhausted. And he tied a belt around my waist and held me in the bed. So that way, he said I couldn't call the police to report what had happened. So the next morning, he got up and he went to work, and he had hid my phone and my keys, but I found them. Or I didn't find my keys, but I found my phone. So I called my mom, who lives 4 hours away, and she drove here to pick me and Ryan up.
Okay, so Your Honor, can I approach the witness?
You may.
Identify what I've handed you.
That is my right arm with bruises on it where he was holding me and grabbing me.
Okay, and keep just kind of, those are all photos.
Yes.
And when were those photos taken?
These photos were taken, I believe, the day after the incident had occurred.
And do they represent what your body looked like at that time?
Yes.
And who caused those injuries to your body? All right, Your Honor, I'd ask that these be made an exhibit.
Has Mr. Butler seen these?
He has. And then, so that, on that day, you didn't call the police about that incident. But eventually you did call the police. Can you explain how that came to be?
So I had came back home, so the kids could all be together for Christmas. Rob told me that he was gonna go to rehab because he had been drinking that night. But we continued to argue, and I had told him before work, we were both up early for work, that I was gonna take my son to my mom's to get away from him, and he threatened me with child abduction if I did that. So I knew that I needed to get that incident on record. So I went to the sheriff's department, I filed a police report, and they issued a warrant for his arrest.
Your Honor, can I approach the witness?
You may.
Oh.
Can you identify what you have in your hand?
This is the police report
From what
from
day?
the January the 17th of 2023 is when I filed the report.
And what was he charged with? What are those two warrants for?
Aggravated assault and false imprisonment.
Your Honor, I would ask to admit these certified copies of those arrest warrants as Exhibit 2, please.
Exhibit 2.
So that day he was arrested. And what eventually happened with those cases?
So we went to court, I believe it was in June. The DA wanted to press charges, but at that point we were trying to reconcile. So I told her I did not want to press charges. So she court ordered anger management classes.
And then those were, how were they disposed? Was it a guilty plea or what was the result of that? Was it set out for some amount of time?
Yes, it was for a year's time that there would be no additional misconduct, basically,
And then what would happen after 1 year?
that it would be dropped.
Okay, so then less than a week later, there was an incident in Florida. Can you describe that for the court?
So we took a beach trip with my son and his half brother. The old,
Before or after this episode that led to the warrant?
this is after.
And I'm sorry,
You stayed together?
Yes,
Why?
I wanted my family.
and so the beach incident occurred 1 week after court.
Correct. So that was June of 2023, about 6 months after the initial incident.
Okay, and then can you describe what happened at that, during that trip?
So shortly after getting there, I wanted to go to the grocery store. We stayed in a condo for a long weekend, and the boys were playing a game on my phone. So I asked Rob if I could use his phone to just write the grocery list in the notes. So when I was going through his note, or I just opened it and I saw a name of someone that I worked with that at the time I was working in a doctor's office. I had a lot of different surgeons and doctors texting me about referrals and cases and things. And these are people that I didn't really talk about. So it kind of piqued my interest. So I looked, and there was a lot of information about dates and places I was and just things that he shouldn't know. So Rob admitted that he had hired a private investigator to follow me. And I was not mad about it. I was just kind of in shock. But he got really agitated that I found out about it. And he started drinking, and it was an absolute nightmare. I couldn't leave. He had the truck keys, and the boys were little, so I couldn't go anywhere. So he would leave in the morning and be gone all day, and verbally beat me to death.
So
Extremely verbally aggressive.
Then after that, you still stayed with him as the court acknowledged or pointed out. And that continued, or that type of relationship continued for about a year. Is that right?
Yes.
And then in May of 2024, what happened? Do you remember an event that happened in May of 2024?
So we had all of the children. He has two older children from a previous relationship, and it was Saturday night, and he was really irritable. He snapped at the kids, and it was the night before Mother's Day. And just jokingly, I said, I know what I want for Mother's Day. I just want a nice family dinner together. And he got mad, so he stormed off, and we were fighting that night. And then the next morning, I woke up before everybody else. I made breakfast, getting ready for church. When he woke up, I tried to talk to him, but he was still agitated. And so I just wanted to be by myself for a minute. So I walked up into the woods back behind our house. But then I saw him get in the truck and start driving up and down the road. And I knew he was going to be mad. And I didn't want the kids to be there alone and be scared. So I came back down, and he took Bailey and Corey. He called me a lying bitch right in front of them. Left with them. He was gone all day long. And then he came back that evening, kind of gave me a half-hearted apology. I didn't really acknowledge him. I didn't want to talk or argue anymore. So then he left on his motorcycle and was gone for a couple more hours. And then when he came back, it was obvious to me he had been drinking. He was very mean, followed me around the house, insulting me, verbally assaulting me. And it escalated to a point where he was taunting me so much that I just kind of lost it. And I grabbed his shirt and I yanked on it, and it ripped some. And then he starts laughing, saying that I'm going to be the one that goes to jail now. And, that he's going to get Ryan taken away from me. And so he threatens to call the police, and I kind of panicked. So I called my dad and told him about what was going on. Well, my dad was concerned for me, so he also called the police. So when they came out to our house, Rob made up a story about wrecking his motorcycle. But then the police called me outside and said that they had got a secondary call about a domestic dispute. And I told them, it was a verbal argument, that it was nothing new, it's just has been going on. And basically they asked Rob for his ID for the investigation, and he refused to cooperate. And they smelled alcohol on him, so they took him to jail.
And at that point, he was still on bond for the original charge from June.
Correct.
And so he was charged on that day with criminal charges. And do you know what those were?
Butcher Box is more than
Violation of a order, I believe, and failure to comply with the police investigation, I believe it was.
And those charges, we don't have those certified copies available. Do you know the disposition of that and why certified copies may not be available?
I believe it was dropped.
That close enough, it'll be fine. So, okay, so at this point, Mr. Butler was still in the home, and you had filed for divorce. And so tell the court what happened June 15th of 2024.
So the night before that, we had made plans to take Ron to Montgomery Bell for like a beach day. And he had asked me to perform some sexual favors, and I didn't want to, and he got mad. So he slept in the other room, and then he slept in that morning. I got up early. I'm packing the cooler. I'm making sandwiches. I'm doing all these things. And I asked him if he wanted to go, and he said no. And I said, okay, well then I'm going to go to the Cheatham Lock and Dam with my friend who also has a son Ron's age. And so I'm loading up the car. I'm trying to get ready to go. Well, I'm in the house. Now I'm trying to get Ron ready, and he barricades me into the bathroom, and he's arguing with me and telling me I'm not going anywhere. I can't take his son anywhere. And finally he lets me out of the bathroom, and I'm trying to hurry with Ryan out of the house. We get down to my car. He starts throwing the cooler and everything that I had packed in the trunk out of the car. And then he picks Ryan up and starts running away with him. Ryan screaming and reaching for me. And so I got in my car and I locked the doors and I called the police. And when he realized what I was doing, he sat Ryan down and he left in his vehicle. The police came out. They basically said that because no physical altercation occurred, they weren't going to file a report.
And that same type of event occurred again a couple weeks later. So this is 2024. We've had the event in May. Now we have the event in June, and then there's another event on July 2nd. And at this point, did the district attorney do something to change the circumstances?
Yeah, so I was unaware of it at the time, but that was the night before he had court basically to review the year review. No, I'm sorry. I take that back. The DA's office did reach out to me and asked me how things had been going. And I told them that it was not good, that I had filed for divorce, that he's in the home, that he's terrorizing me. My family lives 4 hours away. I didn't have anywhere to go. I was looking into Airbnbs at the time just to try to get away from him. And anyway, so the night before he had court, he was extremely agitated. He followed me through the house. He called me very vulgar names right in front of our son.
Let me interrupt real quick. Did the DA's office file a motion to modify the bond conditions?
July 3rd, they did.
Okay, and so after that, then what happened? Was that motion granted? And if so, what were the changes?
Yes, it was granted and he was court ordered out of the house.
Okay, so then he's no longer now living in the home. This is July 3rd, about a year ago of 2024. July 3rd, 2024, he's out of the house. So then we're moving forward and we're at August the 10th. Can you tell the court about what happened at an event related to a birthday party?
So Ryan and I had went to a birthday party of someone I used to work with, and we got home maybe around 8:30, 9 o'clock. It was a Saturday night. And shortly after we got home, Rob came to the back door of the house and knocked on the door. So I answered it and I basically asked him to leave. And after a few minutes of kind of going back and forth, he left.
And were the police involved with that?
No.
So we don't have an event that happened on August 10th that resulted in arrest charges.
Well-
Your Honor, can I approach the witness?
Sure.
Can I approach the
Yes.
witness? Look at those and tell the court what happened that led to those charges.
So there were two different incidents. So I didn't call the police on the first incident on August the 10th. On August the 15th, that was Ryan's first day of school, and I had made plans for us to celebrate with dinner with his half brother and sister in Thompson Station. So when we got home, shortly after when we got home, he was waiting for me on the back porch, basically. And when I went to unlock the door, I always just lock the deadbolt, but the other door was locked. So I instantly knew he had been in the house. And I went into the bathroom because I needed to get Ron a shower, and he had smashed the bathroom vanity. So I told him that I knew he had been in the house and that he needed to leave. And so he left. So then the next morning, I called Candy at the DA's office, and I went to the DA's office and filed a police report.
And were there new criminal charges that resulted from all of this?
Yes, aggravated stalking.
All right. And so besides aggravated stalking, what else do you have?
A healthy liver
Was aggravated stalking and violation of a court order, I believe.
That goes fine.
I think that's what it was, violation of court order and violation of the granting bail.
Keep going. What about electronic?
So at the time, when I was telling Candy about what happened, she said, I bet you he is tracking you somehow, because how else is he knowing exactly when you're getting home to pop up at your back door? So she said, go down to King Automotive and tell them that the DA's office sent you. And so I did, and they found a cell phone hid in my trunk.
Your Honor,
Okay, what-
They found a cell phone hid in my trunk.
Your Honor, I have certified copies of the stalking charge and the violation of order granting bail. I think the others have been expunged, so these are the ones that we have available from the August 10th event. And I would ask that those be admitted into evidence. Okay, so now we have all of these different charges going on at one time and all of this chaos throughout May, June, and July and into August. And at this point, again, he's out of the home, but there's still a lot of activity and interactions between you. So can you tell the court what happened with all of these charges? Do you remember what happened?
So whenever the warrant was issued, I'm assuming went to Florida because he was on the run for about a month. And then he appeared, it was right before Labor Day. It was in September. He appeared to his regular court hearing and turned himself in that day.
And he has some convictions that have resulted because of that. And then what were the result, or how did the DA choose to handle those convictions?
So he was found guilty, and he got 2 years of supervised probation with drug tests and 6 months wearing a GPS tracking device.
Okay, so now so he's on probation, he has GPS, and he has drug testing at this point from September until March. And now that all of those things have calmed down and things are kind of smoothing out, and there's a thing that we're going to have to talk about that you're not going to want to talk about, but I know that this has potentially been used against you, so we're just going to acknowledge it. But there was a brief reconnection between you and Mr. Butler. Can you describe when that happened and how long it lasted?
Yes. So I would like to preface that by saying that my grandmother, who I'm very close with, passed away suddenly in October. And I was very devastated from that. My family all lives 4 hours away, so I am out here alone with my son. It was around the middle of November that I did reach out to Mr. Butler, and we did reconnect. It was about a month and a half, 2 months before the original behavior began to surface again, and I distanced myself from him.
Okay, so let's talk about Mr. Butler's contact with Ryan during all of this. From July 3rd, when he left out of the home, until December of 2024, how much parenting time did he exercise with Ryan during all of that?
None, except for when the reconnection, and I did let him see Ryan during that time.
Okay, so but effectively from July until December, he had essentially no real significant parenting time.
No.
Then in December 2024, we entered into an agreed order for some parenting time. What was Mr. Butler's parenting schedule at that point?
It was every other weekend. So he would pick up from school on Friday after school and then return to school Monday morning. And then on the alternate week, he had Wednesday after school until Friday morning drop off at school.
So that's about 8 days a month at that point.
Yes.
Can you repeat those schedules, please?
Yes, sir. So on his weekends, he would pick up from school on Friday afternoon and return Ron to school on Monday morning. And then the following week was Wednesday after school, returning to school Friday morning. We had done that in order to limit the contact between me and Mr. Butler.
All right, thank you.
All right, so now this schedule has had some issues. We've already testified about that at another hearing, but we're going to recap that briefly for this court today. There's talk about, like I said, we're going to try to keep it to the point because we got a lot of ground to cover. January 2025, there was a snowstorm issue. Can you explain that to the court?
Yes. So it was the big snowstorm. I don't know if you guys remember it, but they had been predicting it all week. I knew that school was going to be closed. I had to work. I'm a nurse. And so I had been talking to Mr. Butler. I mean, we were, agreeable at the time, and I asked him if he could keep Ryan so that way Ryan had somewhere to be and I could go to work, and he said yes. That was on Wednesday at Ryan's little ninja class. Well, then later that evening, he called me. We got into an argument. The next day, I'm at work. I'm texting him because I didn't know when the snowstorm was going to start on Friday morning. So I wanted Ryan to be where he was going to be Thursday night. And so I texted Rob all day Thursday. He didn't respond. And finally I said, if you can't keep him, I need to know so I can make other arrangements. And the only thing he said was, I can't. So I reached out to the other children's mother who lives in Thompson Station. She said she could watch Ryan. I drove Ryan down there Thursday evening. Then I came back so I could go to work Monday morning.
Okay. And would that have been the father's weekend or your weekend?
So that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I'd like to welcome all the new subscribers to this channel. Welcome. If you're not a subscriber to this channel and you like the content that's on this channel, please help this channel grow by subscribing to this channel. I'd like to get at least 500 so I can personally monetize. But that's it for today, everybody. Real court cases with real judges. That's what we do here. And yes, I'm still debating whether or not I want to keep doing this. But for now, I'm going to keep going on. So you all have a wonderful evening. Ta-ta and ciao-ciao. I will see you again tomorrow at 3 o'clock p.m. Central, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And at whatever time it is on California coast. But you all have a wonderful evening.
Scattered seams with your steady hands, you refill my heart. Every piece that's lost gets a brand new start. You fix it all, you fix it all. Daniel, you make it right. Daniel, everything's bright when I'm falling apart. You put me back together. You're my solid ground, always drawing near. Never give up on this heart of mine. Put it back together every single time.